It is such a beautiful day. Actually, it's not in Montreal.
Yeah,
it's not. It's snowing.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's snowing, but it's beautiful.
I like the snow. I don't know why you guys don't like the snow. I enjoy it a lot.
No, you know what? I'll take it over rain.
Yeah,
I'll take it over rain.
That's true.
No, it's beautiful because it's the Calcio guys with Adreano, Nardo, Gianni, Delli, Colli, and myself, Nicholas Di Giovanni. Adriano, I always feel like I mess up your name, especially at the beginning.
There you go. Going back to the last episode, butchering names there.
It's a little tongue twister. Adreano Di Nardo.
Yeah, for sure.
It feels like we haven't had a sunny day on a Tuesday, but I guess we're here to brighten up your day.
Absolutely.
Oh, but
one team who's not here to brighten up your day, Milan.
Yeah, I'm seeing red today.
You are seeing red.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Julia Villa on with us to talk about Juve after, but not to talk about the Milan Juve game. So it's our turn to talk about that now because Juve screwed up in Champions League last week, so she's coming on later. And Juve Milan, it was a Higuain show, but in the bad way, Adri.
Yeah.
What went wrong?
Well, I mean, just as the fixture was, it'll always be a tough game against the champions, Juventus there, and this again just shows how much further ahead Juve are to Milan and to a lot of the competition in Serie A. They're champions for a reason. You gotta give them credit where credit's due, but at the same time, I didn't find they played their typical Juve game. I don't think they played all that well from what we're used to. For Milan's side, that was broken pretty much, and we don't have that great of a lineup anyways. But just to say that we had a lot of injuries, and I could have seen this game going like 4-0, let alone 2. So, I guess kudos for Milan sticking it out there. But once again, there's all kinds of problems for Milan, and I'm worried. But it's one game. Put it behind us, manage expectations, and go on to the next one against Lazio.
Oh, great leap, great goal, Mandzukic, back in business for Juve. Here he is. Oh, and Szczesny onto the post. What drama. João Cancelo and Ronaldo. His moment, their moment. The president celebrates up in the stands.
You heard that from the crowd. No, you said Juve didn't play their normal game. I actually felt like they played just an all-around solid game, and they kind of played like their normal Juve. You know what? If it was a bad Juve, they would have allowed Milan to come back into it. They wouldn't have scored that second goal. So I'm happy with the way they played, especially after what happened against Manchester last week. And they looked real good. I think it was Marcello, obviously from Milan Club Montreal, that tweeted out Milan is such behind. Milan is very behind Juventus, and we kind of saw that on Sunday.
Yeah,
I feel like as if Milan did not definitely bring their A game at all. Romagnoli really had a hard time containing Mandzukic, as you can see from the first goal. Managed to kind of make
that was Rodriguez's fault.
That was Rodriguez's fault, really.
Yeah, he didn't have him covered at all. But anyways,
but
it was a nice cross by Alexandro.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, the Donnarumma wasn't getting any favors. Those plays that were coming in, the guys that were supposed to get those balls weren't getting those balls, and he makes the best of what he can do. And when you got a guy as dangerous as Mandzukic up close, giving it a very tactful and accurate header, it's nearly impossible for as big as a guy like Donnarumma to save it.
Now Romulo. It's a good ball in. Kouame! Once again, Napoli feel the pain of the Marasic. This is a good area to play in. That's a good touch for Fabian! The substitute does it for Ancelotti.
Napoli with a big comeback win against Genoa. It kind of looked like worrisome at the beginning, at least when Kwame scored, and then Mertens comes on, and fantastic touch for Fabian. Was kind of involved in that second goal. Just how good has he been this season?
Well, he's been used very well by Ancelotti. He knows the kind of games when to bring in Fabian Ruiz when you need that kind of like creative touch. I don't know how to describe it. He just brings a different element. He he has a great sense of the game, and he knows where to get into those open spaces. And you could see from his goal, he was just there when he needed him to be. And that's just, like I said, I go back to Ancelotti for that. He knows how to use his bench very well, and that's why Napoli's been very successful in terms of Serie A and Champions League, because he knows how to use his men.
I would agree.
But would you use Mertens off the bench? Wouldn't that be someone you'd start off with?
Well, there you go. It just shows he has options. He has options to put, a world-class or almost world-class player in Mertens there to come off the bench and, do what he has to do. But for Fabian Ruiz, he's another one. He's been surprising me a bit. I didn't expect him to be, one of the better midfielders in Serie A, but he's proven a lot in the short time that he's been at Napoli, and it's refreshing to see.
Chievo Verona?
Yeah, it's another mess.
They lost. Oh, they tied. They tied 2-2 against Bologna.
Yeah, it's not often we say they tied, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, finally at 0.
Yeah, they improved to 0.
Yeah.
And Gianpiero Ventura resigns. We're going to be talking about Ventura and his past later on in the show.
Oh, God.
And but he resigns. And who is it? Sergio Pellissier said, "I've never seen a coach come into a team in my 22 years as a professional hockey player, soccer player, and see him want to leave right away." I mean, it just looks bad on everybody's part at this point.
Yeah, it shows he doesn't want to be there. It just shows, I don't even know why he took the job, to be honest with you. I don't even know how he's taking jobs in Italy to begin with after the embarrassment exactly a year ago today. So he shouldn't be able to work in Italy anymore.
Well, I mean, if you don't have the finances, not saying you don't have the finances, but if you don't have a high amount of revenue like Chievo Verona right now, and you can't afford high quality coaches, you'll go for whatever you can get, right?
I would have taken the Primavera coach over Ventura any day of the week.
True, but
that's just my opinion.
Do they have a Primavera?
Well, they should.
They have the oldest team in Italy, actually.
Yeah.
But what's really unfortunate is that there's left in the dark again, and it's not going to improve the situation at all.
I agree.
There's no organization anymore.
Julian Velasquez fired from Udinese. Davide Nicola comes in. Not much of a surprise. Udinese just hasn't had their season. Nicola saved Crotone from relegation 2 years ago. I'm kind of excited to see what he'd be able to do with this team.
Yeah, we've been speaking about Udinese's, disappointing start to the season there, and they're now down all the way in 17th position with 9 points, tied with, I think, Empoli. That's just in the relegation zone at 18th. So it's going to be tough. Hopefully, he can lift them up and they can get some results in the future.
Nino Sodimo, Andrea Pinamonti. Oh, that is absolutely tremendous. Corners whipped in, flicked on, and it will surely be a second. The goal has given a bit of confusion, but Francesco Caputo was on the end of that flick on.
Andrea Pinamonti and Ciccio Caputo scored for their respective teams. So Frosinone beat Fiorentina. It's kind of an upset there.
They tied.
I said they beat them. They tied. It's
a win. Moral victory.
It's a win in their books.
Yes.
And then Empoli beat Udinese at home. Out of those two teams, do you see any of them turning around and kind of climbing into the safety zone? Gianni?
Okay. Well, actually, I see Empoli more than Frosinone. Frosinone has shown against the bigger teams that they can put up a fight, but they're not there yet to actually get those results that they want. I think Fiorentina really had a bad game against Frosinone. Mind you, Pinamonti's shot was, oh my God, it was amazing. It was beautiful. But just think about it for a second. It takes a perfect shot like that and a bad game by Fiorentina just to get a draw for Frosinone. Whereas Empoli, you've seen them get results from teams, and they fight hard.
They do.
They like to scratch and claw their way to a victory. So I see more Empoli getting the better of results rather than Frosinone.
I would like to see. I'd like to see Frosinone. They have amazing fans, a nice new stadium. I'd like to see them save themselves. Anyways, you're listening to the Calcio guys. On the other side of the break, Champions League. Big week of Champions League last week. 4 Italian teams. 1 loss, and it has to be Juventus.
Good. just teasing, yeah.
We'll take it.
We'll be talking about that later with Giulia Villa. But Napoli, man, they surprised me against PSG. They kind of... They went to PSG, to Paris 2 weeks ago, and surprised everyone with the 2-2 draw. And then they host PSG, and this happens.
Insigne whips in, Kaya Hahn! Mertens! And again, Paris Saint-Germain survive. Here comes Insigne. And he puts it away. Buffon finally beaten.
I mean, what did you see of this team?
Believe it or not, I actually felt like as if they didn't really have that great of a game versus PSG. They were fighting hard, but they have to bring they were capable of beating them. That's the thing. Like, I expect so much from Napoli. I've seen it from time and time again that these guys are too talented offensively just to end a game 1-1. I'll take the draw, but after watching that 2-2 victory, actually going back to that 1-0 victory versus Liverpool and then seeing that 2-2 draw versus PSG, I actually had some faith in this team. Like, you know what? Maybe these guys can actually come away with a win versus PSG, especially at home.
Yeah. You know what?
I don't think you could be that disappointed.
Yeah,
no, I'll take the point, but still, I mean, I would rather be more comfortable with a win.
No, for sure. Every team would. I mean, I think Napoli's problem is they're creating chances. They're getting shots, but it's the shots on target that count. This past game against PSG, 20 shots, only 4 on targets. Like, that is beyond ridiculous. They need to be executing a bit more. In their favor, I mean, the goal by Bernat for PSG came just before the halftime whistle, and it was kind of, a sloppy goal, I would think, and then they got rewarded with the penalty, and Insigne puts it past Buffon there. But I think it's just executing being a bit more efficient in front of goal, getting the shots and getting them on target, hopefully.
Deep delivery, keeper didn't get there, it's in. Oh, what a start! Manolas back in the side and on the score sheet inside 4 minutes. Kolarov cross that finds Cristante. Oh, it's dropped in for Pellegrini. Well, they're all looking for a flag, Seska. It hasn't come, and Roma lead.
Manolas with that goal off the corner looks familiar. And did you see the celebration?
He went crazy again, did he?
Not as crazy as he did against Barcelona, but course, yeah. He ran to the bench. He kind of had that open mouth face. You can't really recreate that face on radio, but it was amazing to see. But Roma, I mean, I wouldn't say they shocked people because they've beat Victoria Pleasant and CSKA Moscow twice, but it's the way they're doing it in these kind of comeback wins, and they look like a real good team in the Champions League.
Well, they have a really solid core from the year before, and despite the really terrible start to the season from the beginning, they're starting to find some ground again, and their guys are coming together. So that's how they're able to come with these victories, and they're getting these key wins because you're not going to get a win versus Real Madrid. As hard as it is for me to say, as much as I want them to beat Real, it's near impossible to beat a solid team like Real, which is probably one of the best teams, actually probably the best team in the world. So
that's Juventus, so you're wrong.
Check yourself. Just teasing. But in all seriousness, it's like you're not going to get win versus them, so you need to win every other game, and they're getting them. So maybe if they get a draw versus Real, that'll be amazing. But this win was much needed.
I agree. I definitely agree with that. I don't know if it's super impossible to get a result against Real, seeing their form, especially in their league, in the La Liga.
It's weird. It's possible to get a win against them in La Liga, but once they see that Champions League logo, once they play in Champions League, it's like something's different.
Yeah, they got that. They got that DNA in Champions League that is just remarkable to watch at times. But I don't know. I think that Roma can get a result against Real. As Gianni said, these wins against obviously Moscow twice and Pleasant were definitely needed. Were very, very, very crucial for their push to get out of the group there, which I do think they will. I don't know. Will they finish first? I don't know, but I think it's definitely in the realms of possibility.
If they finish first, drinks on me. I'll be extremely happy.
Okay, it's on camera.
It's on camera and radio.
So check it out on YouTube.
Napoli tweeted out last week that they're happy that they're the only undefeated team left in the only Italian undefeated team left in Champions League.
Should be proud of that.
Yeah.
They don't even have the most points.
Doesn't matter.
They don't even have the most points.
Doesn't matter. They're still ranked first in the group of death.
Are you offended, Nicholas?
You're just mad.
It's a small victories.
You're just mad.
They've become the Tottenham of Italy.
He's such a hater. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
Wow, really?
They become the Tottenham of Italy. Remember, like...
See, this is what happens when you have Juve fans on a radio show.
I'm with you all 100%. 100%.
For like 3-4 years in a row, Tottenham always finished second or third in the Prem, and they'd always be like, we put the pressure on. That's become Napoli. We've put the pressure on.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, a team that doesn't... Like, they have some solid financial backing in Aurelio, but to not have like a company like Fiat backing them up, it's
Aurelio probably has more money than Fiat.
Yeah,
Come on.
okay.
He just doesn't want to spend it.
I mean, a small country movie director versus a worldwide car company. Gee, I wonder who has more money.
Probably the movie director again.
Yeah. But in all seriousness,
Sure.
it's not just that. It's the fact that it's the group of death.
They also have the least amount of points out of Italian teams.
Doesn't matter.
It does.
No, it does matter. Sorry, it doesn't matter because it's the. It's,
Thank you.
No, because you're mixing up my words right now. It's like I was telling you before on the bus right here. It was the group of death. Not just me saying this. A lot of actual analysts. Analysts were saying that this was the group of death and the group to watch. And the fact that Napoli beat Liverpool and managed to get 1 point from both games against PSG is big because those were games that everybody pegged them to lose, and they're actually coming out with results. That's why they should be proud, because a lot of people were pinning them as third place automatically when they were releasing their predictions, and now they're fighting for first.
Least amount of points in out of the Italian teams in Champions League. That's all I got to say.
Uh-huh.
Europa League.
And hooked in, and Parolo's header. Lazio take the lead in first half stoppage time. Correa for Immobile. There's the return ball. It's beautifully done. It's Joaquin Correa with the goal that surely takes Marseille out of this competition.
So Lazio confirmed their place in the round of 32 for the Europa League. They easily handled last year's finalists, Marseille. So Lazio confirmed.
Yeah.
Milan's in second right now out of the Champions League. Europa League. Out of Champions League, Juve's in first. Roma's in second. Inter's in second.
And
Napoli's in first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys see all 6 teams moving on at this point?
I would hope, as we've mentioned before, I would definitely hope so. I definitely do think they all have the means to do that. I think maybe the only team that I guess is, I don't know, wishy-washy is probably Milan there, but I would hope that they can all get through. Lazio, as you said, already did, so they're safe, but I definitely do think they'll all get through.
Yeah, I think AC Milan out of all of them, mind you, both AC and Napoli are very in tough spots. AC's in a must-win situation, or just like at least a win-draw situation. They're comfortable. They have breathing room, but it's not a lot as like let's say Inter does. But Napoli itself, it's a 3-way tie for first in terms of points. So that's the next game versus Liverpool is probably going to be the game-breaking one.
Going to set up for interesting end to the Champions League. That's in 2 weeks. Back to Serie A. Players of the week. We had a high-scoring week. It was a good way to send off before the international break. I'm kind of going to miss it. I love the international break. I love watching Italy play.
Yeah, but they come in like the horrible positions during the year.
3 times in 3 months, it's kind of like, I love watching Serie A, and then, you got to take a break.
Yeah.
Player of the week before...
Players of the
for
week?
the last week.
Players of the week or play of the week?
Well,
I said players of the week.
Oh, I thought I heard play of the week.
MVP of the week.
For me, I'm. You know what? I'm gonna go with Stefan El-Shaarawy. He got doppietta there in Roma's game on the weekend, and he's not always a starter, but when he comes on, he's proven that he's been able to capitalize. So I'm gonna give it to El-Shaarawy.
Good strong run, collar off. El-Shaarawy. Nardo coming out well. El-Shaarawy. Oh, Stefan El-Shaarawy! Wonder goal out of nothing.
You, Gianni?
I was gonna say El-Shaarawy, but I mean, since AJ already said it, I'm probably gonna go with Spartiello for Frosinone. He had some amazing key saves, kind of kept them in there and kind of helped them get that draw.
I think
Fair.
that's a fair.
I don't have the actual number on my sheet right now, but I think it was I think it was like 10 saves he did. If you guys would mind correcting me, by all means, go ahead. I think he had like 10 saves, and that's against Fiorentina. It's not against some kind of mid-table team. That's a very, very strong team.
He finally played well.
Yeah.
That's the important
He
part.
helped. He's one of the major reasons why they got that 1-1 result.
He finally played well. He kind of let in some fluky goals early in the season. He didn't look like his old self. So I guess it's kind of good to see him. For me, it's got to be another goalie.
Fana lays it off to Striker Larsson, who goes inside and hits it. It's a wonderful strike, but Provedal has matched it with an incredible save, and he, at the moment, is keeping his team in this.
So, Provedal from Empoli, he kept Udinese in it during the first half, and he allowed. He kept Empoli in it against Udinese during the first half. He allowed Udinese to come back. They scored a goal pretty much out of nothing, and then that kind of set the wheels running. And he's looked really good so far this season. He might be, I wouldn't go far as saying Empoli's goalie of the future because we know what happens with smaller teams. But he's looked good. He's looked real solid. He's confident in the net, and that's what made him my play of the week this week.
No, for sure. Also, just another shout out, I guess, for another little player of the week, Mancini for Atalanta.
Yeah.
The defender, Gianluca Mancini over there. He's played really well, and he's scored, I think, in 3 consecutive games now for Atalanta, or
something like that,
something along those lines. So he's really showing up. Another young Italian in the league. It's always nice to see. So maybe you never know. Maybe he'll get a call up eventually, but he's proven a lot. So it's good to see.
Yellow card, red cards of the week. I know who I'm going to give it to.
Okay, go.
You know what? I was going to give it to Rodrigo De Paul for missing his penalty, but I'm actually going to give the yellow card to Max Allegri for not starting Bonucci against Milan. You know how fun that would have been to see Bonucci against his former team, his one-year team, the team he used to captain for one season.
Yeah.
Instead, he went for Benatia. At the end, you can't get too mad over this. It's just something for fun. I would have loved to see, but that definitely has to be the yellow card of the week for me.
And he now sees a flash of yellow before his eyes.
So for me, for I guess my yellow card as well, I'm gonna have to give it to Fiorentina as a whole. I'm surprised with their performance against Frosinone on the weekend, and this is a game that they needed, and they needed to get more than just 1 point over a bottom feeder team like Frosinone. So. They scored early. I think it was Benassi who scored early, provided by Chiesa there. But regardless, they needed to get this result. They're in, that middle of the pack, kind of pushing for Europe. So I'm going to have to give my yellow card for Fiorentina.
This is definitely going to be another yellow.
And for me, I was going to say Fiorentina, but I'll also move it along.
Me today,
but I'm actually going to give it to the Inter Milan defense.
Red or yellow?
I'm going to give them a red.
Good.
They didn't do Handanovic any favors.
Yeah, they're snakes, that's why.
Just the whole defense as a whole.
Yeah, the defense as a whole, basically all of Atalanta's goals, they looked like a big sloppy mess. Nobody was covering anybody, and Handanovic tried to make the best of the situation. He made an amazing save from the get-go, but it was a sign of things to come, and then next thing, the floodgates just opened, and he couldn't stop anything.
And the red card is out!
Next on the Calcio guys, what went wrong with Juventus against Manchester United? Julia Villa will be joining us.
And it will be Mata, and it is a smash and grab. It's almost come out of nowhere. Team that have specialised in memorable European comebacks down the years have another opportunity. And it's Young's free kick. Fellaini is in there. Szczesny under pressure. It's in. This is absolutely extraordinary.
It's tough to hear. That's tough to hear, definitely. Juventus shot themselves in the foot late against Manchester United. We have Julia Villa on the line with us. Julia, how's it going?
I'm well. How are you?
Not too bad. So making your second appearance on the Calcio guys, that's a record.
Yeah.
That's a record. Got to be pretty
Happy
proud.
to be here.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank
you have
you.
to be proud of that. And so you hear those highlights, Mata's goal. Nice goal on the free kick, but then the own goal. What do you think of?
I mean, together it was kind of a disappointing end to what should have been, a 3 or 4-0 lead for us. And at 3 points we should have easily taken. And, there was a lot of blame going to Allegri, going to the players, mostly falling on Allegri, unfortunately. But the last 5 minutes or so, we just kind of fell asleep, and there was no urgency to pull out 3 points from that game.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely agree. Going forward, throughout the game, Juventus, a lot of missed chances, a lot of missed opportunities. They managed to muster up 23 shots, only 3 on target. What do you think about that? What do you think about the missed chances? Could they have done better?
I mean, it's that kind of thing where it always goes back to the urgency of us being, too relaxed, and we just don't have that mentality to put the game away. We had the attack of Ronaldo, Dybala, and Cuadrado, and not one of them could hit the net more than once. And, when you have guys like Pjanic and Cuadrado and Khedira not being able to hit the net from 5 yards out in the box, I think it's just something that needs to be dealt with accordingly. And that's something where Mandzukic should have come on, and it's just the mentality again has to be brought through, and that's, I guess, where the blame can go on Allegri, because we're playing this defensive game where we just can't attack properly.
For sure.
Cuadrado meaning business here. Ronaldo. Cuadrado! Well, they should be out of sight, and if they live to regret these opportunities, well...
So that was a Cuadrado missed chance. Khedira missed a big one too. It was just not too fun to see.
Well, yeah, and now that Juve has, even though despite this loss, they have a 2-point difference and lead. Do you think Juve's starting to feel the pressure, or do you think maybe they're still going to be a bit laid back in terms of their next game?
I mean, it's kind of like the league for them. I mean, they're always laid back no matter what game they go into. We saw that against Milan. I didn't think they were that hungry to walk away with the 3 points. And it just showed against United, even the first game at Old Trafford, the first half we played incredible. And the second half we just lost possession, and there was no urgency. And I think that's the major thing. So now that, wanting to be able to top the group is a key thing that Allegri needs to put into perspective here, especially with Valencia trying to make it back in to top the table to advance. So it's something that we can't take lightly, especially with, Manchester United playing young boys. We know they're going to walk away with the 3 points. So we have to go in there full forward.
So Mourinho, at the end of the game, we all saw his gesture, holding up his hand to his ear. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, it's funny.
It's
you
funny.
have to be able to laugh at something like that. It's kind of the Mourinho way. You wouldn't really expect anything less from him. But I think Angelotti honestly said it best when he said that, just show them your trophies, show them what you have. There's really no need for it, but you honestly can't expect anything less.
So, going forward, what do you think Juventus have to do in their next games in the Champions League to get out of this little bit of a laid back mentality? What do you think they have to work on? What do you think they have to do going forward?
The attack definitely needs to be something that they work on. We need to work on more of a progressive attacking mentality, because right now, we go up 1-0, and it's just kind of that thing where we sit back the rest of the game, we carry the ball, it's a possession kind of thing, which is extremely scary, because when you start to play the top teams, especially in the league against Napoli or Inter Milan, it's going to be tough to play that kind of game just because of the counterattacks that we'll have. And I know that our defense is solid right now, but without being able to score 3 or 4 goals a game, especially with Ronaldo, Dybala, Costa, the attack that we have is so strong that we can't hit the net more than once. It's disappointing, to be honest. And I think that all starts with Allegri as well.
For sure.
Higuain is in trouble.
Talked himself into a red.
He is literally seeing red. He is inflamed. And the old colleagues at Madrid have become the fiercest enemies as Higuain lets fly on his former colleagues.
So, dialing back to Juve Milan outside of Champions League right now, what was going through your mind when you saw that Higuain got the red card in that Juve Milan game?
It was a little bit of a soft red, I'm going to be honest. The tackle for sure, if you want to give him a yellow, fine, it is what it is. But to give him a red card for that, just especially, I know a lot of not only Milan fans, but, Serie A fans that were watching that game were trying to blame the ref for not giving Benatia a red. So it just, the way that it was going, I didn't think that it needed that, especially the game that Higuain was having.
Just
Agreed.
Yeah, of course Adreano agrees.
Agreed.
But just how about seeing, what were you thinking when you saw Higuain react like that, especially in front of, his former teammates, guys he was just playing with 6 months ago?
They didn't want him.
I mean, he didn't want to leave, and it's completely understandable. He was frustrated. Things weren't going his way, especially with the missed penalty. Things just, the way he was playing, he wasn't playing as his normal self, wasn't making the runs that he needed to make. So I just think that it was all frustration built up, especially him wanting to, score a goal or two to prove himself against Juventus, that they needed him and they should have never gotten rid of him. So it was kind of a way for him to prove himself, but it didn't work out in his favor, and then it just all compiled up into one. He got the red, so he just kind of lost it.
So moving away from all that drama in the Juve Milan game, we're on to an international break now. Italy's playing, Portugal, USA. I think it's your boy Bernardeschi that's kind of pulled out of the call-ups there. Any people that you like that got called up? What are your predictions maybe, and what do you think of the national team going forward?
It's tough. It's always tough to say with the national team, especially with the way that we're playing now. I think all the young guys that are being called up, our midfield for me is the number one thing that I want to see not only improved, but I think that the way that we're going, especially with the likes of Jorginho, and they're incorporating Barella, but the attack for me is just, it's lacking so hard that we have guys from Serie A like Immobile and like Insigne that just aren't performing at the international level, which is very confusing because you watch Insigne play in the Serie A and it's like a whole other level. So trying to find and incorporate strikers that we can properly bring to the international side is
so
difficult to do.
I agree.
Touching upon the attack comment, I mean, if you look down this roster quickly, guys like Berardi, Chiesa, Immobile, Insigne, these are like heavy hitter names. But if there was anybody else you would choose to take and you think that would perform on the national stage, who would those players be?
I mean, it's tough because even with the young players, we're not seeing them play for their club side. So incorporating a guy like, not just because he's a Juventus boy, but incorporating somebody like Roy Keane, I think, is extremely important because he has the determination and the heart just to prove himself for one game. I think he would be kind of like a Mandzukic in that role, and I think that he would be beneficial to have up there, even if you want to put, Insigne beside him or a Chiesa, and just the balls that Insigne would deliver through, it would be extremely important.
Do you see Italy getting past Portugal? Maybe surviving past this Europa League? Nations League.
Yeah.
I want to say yes and no. Yes, because I think we do have the team to do it. I don't see Portugal as that strong of a side. If for anything, they'd probably be level with us. But I also want to say no just because I'm not too sure the lineup that's going to be put out and how we're going to play. Just feel like watching the last few games, we haven't delivered as strong of a performance as should have been expected from us.
So, Julia, I saw on Twitter the other day, you posted a picture of your dog, and his name is Chiellini, right?
Oh, deal.
Yes.
Do you just call him Chiellini?
Well, we call him Giorgio.
Oh, okay, you call him Giorgio, so it's a full name. That's pretty awesome. How did you come up with that, like choosing Chiellini versus some other, Juventus legends?
Obviously, I started with Del Piero, but I think just progressing through watching Giorgio play, I think Chiellini just kind of stood out to me. He was my favorite player for a long time, so it just kind of fit the perfect thing for my dog. So yeah.
Does your dog have a tough attitude?
Oh yeah, he loves to play soccer. So I mean, I think it's kind of perfect.
Can't go wrong.
That's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. Anyways, thank you very much, Julia.
We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
Ciao.
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 So Juventus, they did screw up in against Manchester United. I don't know. Even Julia noticed that against Milan, they were kind of taking it back. I don't know. Maybe I was the only one to notice. Otherwise,
she said it right. I definitely agree with her. I mean, Juve is, such a good team, and they've been a good team. And I don't know. They kind of, I felt that, as Julia said, we're a little laid back. They, the little bit of losing cheap balls in the midfield. But they got the result, which I guess counted for them. But it is what it is.
If there's anybody that's able to catch a team like Juventus sleeping, it's a guy like Jose Mourinho. Even no matter what roster you give him, he knows how to use his players, and he knows how to punish teams when they make those key mistakes or when they have a small chink in their armor. He knows how to capitalize on it. He's done it time and time again with different teams in different leagues. So I think this was a bit of a wake up call for them.
Mourinho.
No, that's true. But he knows they were lucky too. He's even said in the post game press conference they got a little lucky there.
Yeah, I mean Mourinho, he's
a character,
kind of anti-Juve to say the least.
Yeah, but you make the most out of your luck, right? You make the most out of your chances, and you generate your own luck, in my opinion. But you're not wrong.
No, for sure.
Going back to the city, we saw Roma. Their offense exploded against Sampdoria. Was it 4-0?
4-1.
4-1. Yeah, true. Sampdoria did score. They're so inconsistent, it's almost laughable, but you like seeing them do well. And you know what? We're going to talk about this later, but Cristante and El Shaarawy, they've had a great season at Roma so far.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just that Roma's got so many players that can come up to the podium whenever you need them to shine. And that's what's one of their key strengths that I think they're playing to right now. If it's not going to be a guy like El Shaarawy scoring, you're going to have a guy like Dzeko scoring. And if it's not going to be Dzeko, all of a sudden you'll see Kluivert pop in one or two. They have Under and Schick. I was going to say Unger. I don't know why. My brain's not working today. Sorry, guys. But it's just they have so many guys that can just step up to the plate and take that opportunity for Roma. And I think they're playing to that right now. So that's why they've been seeing success in key games. And that's why they're developing a little bit of momentum right now. And they're actually picking up some traction.
Agreed. Definitely. I mean, Gianni said it very well. I mean, we've mentioned, I think, through almost all our shows that Roma have been a bit shaky. They've been up and down throughout the Serie A and throughout the Champions League. But if they can continue to do what we all know they could and perform consistently, I think they will give a lot of teams a run for their money, and they'll do well. But they got to work out the kinks, and they'll definitely continue to go on a good path.
Next on the Calcio Guys, it's already been a year since this. You're listening to the Calcio Guys on CJO 1690.
Jorginho has got it through to Immobile and cleared away by Granqvist as it was dribbling towards the Swedish goal. Damian's across there, couldn't get it under his spell. He goes to ground. Italy again look to the referee. Again they see their appeals waved away. Damian on the volley, just wide. Florenzi so close for Italy. It's going to be opened up to a new generation unless they can find something here. Thielen's header met it. Chiellini offside.
Oh,
depressing.
Listening to that, November 13th, 2017.
Exactly a year.
Exactly a year ago. It was a Monday. Italy lost to Sweden to miss out on the World Cup. And, man, that was tough to see. Straight up, it was almost a sad where were you in moment. I was right across the hall at the Concordian offices Monday night. We obviously have our parade, by the way, the Concordian radio show, Wednesdays at 3 on CJLO.
Nice little plug-in right there.
Nice little plug-in. And I was at the Concordian offices, and, man, I just remember watching that game. And I knew almost from the start Italy wasn't going to win. And it was so depressing to watch. It's like something you're passionate about is just like taken away from you. Obviously, we got to see Italy win a World Cup, and we got to see them miss a World Cup. And watching that World Cup was such a high of emotion. It made me so proud to be Italian. And when Italy won that World Cup in 2006, that's the reason why I'm doing this show. It's the reason why I like soccer. And then what happened last year was just so tough. What were you guys doing?
I was at my cousin's Cafe Ferlucci. There you go. There's my little plug.
Another plug, yeah.
I was watching the game there. I was doing homework and because I had a day off, and honestly, yeah, why not?
No, it's good. It's good. It's good.
But you saw it coming from, like, you saw that the train wreck was on its way, and you kind of felt the vibe, but you're like, I don't want it to happen, but you knew it was going to happen. But I'm actually happy that it did. I know you guys might say I'm crazy for saying this. If we were going to get embarrassed by Sweden, we were going to get embarrassed in the World Cup easily.
I'd rather get embarrassed in the World Cup.
Not necessarily. I mean, it was a wake-up call that the team needed. But not just the team, the organization as a whole.
Yeah.
It was too much of an old men's mentality. Italy was not modernizing. The team wasn't modernizing. We weren't getting with the times. We needed a refresher. And that was a blessing in disguise. That was going to be a refresher for the team. And as you can see, we're making progress. We're climbing up the hill right now. You know, it's going to take time, but the team's there. We see that they have the talent. They have the youth. It sucks that they didn't get a World Cup. They don't have World Cup experience, but they're going to get it. They're going to get there. I just say it's a wait and see type of project.
Yeah. No, well, for me, I mean, I wasn't at, my cousin's or friend's cafe, so I unfortunately was at work, but I did catch most of the game. Thankful for my work's free Wi-Fi.
So I see you're watching TV instead of working, eh?
No, on breaks and stuff like that, I got to catch, the
quote unquote
majority,
breaks.
Yeah, the majority of the games. So shout out to my work's free Wi-Fi, I guess. That's my plug. But going back, in all seriousness, I was totally pissed off. I was seeing red then. I was seeing red over the weekend this weekend, but. It was just disappointing. As Nicholas said, we got, our generation got to see a World Cup winning team in 2006. And, those were the greatest moments of our lives. Going forward now, fast forwarding to last year, seeing them not even make a World Cup, I never thought that would ever happen in Italy's history.
I still can't believe it happened, to be honest.
It's tough
It's the
to say.
second time it happens, actually.
It's a generational thing. The time before was 1958.
Yeah, so that's way before my time. But I never thought I would, witness it. I never thought I would be having to say it, being embarrassed by it. I just couldn't believe that they couldn't muster up at least one goal against a Sweden side. I was just totally shocked. As Gianni said, the mentality wasn't there. They did have that old school mentality, clinging on to, we're Italy. You know what? This is like an automatic thing that, we make these tournaments and, we progress in these tournaments. That's not the case. They definitely needed an overhaul. They had a joke of a coach in Ventura leading the side over there, which that's another thing that totally gets to me. He should have never been there to begin with, but that's a different, discussion for a different day. It just depressing. I don't know. It just, it's heartbreaking to see, us Italians, we wear our emotions on our sleeves, and with a sport like soccer that's, totally involved in the country of Italy, it just embarrassing. It's embarrassing, and I never want to go through this again, and I hope we don't. We do have, youth coming in to the system, and you know what? I'm getting a little heated here.
It's okay. It's okay.
The fumes are coming out, but
get those emotions out of you.
It's a must do over here. We have to, we have to move forward. As Gianni said, the tides are turning. I don't know if they're totally, turned, to positive results there, but slowly, I think they can, turn things around. But they do still need a lot of work. I don't know. Mancini is still new in there, and they're gonna have to get a lot of players on the right page, and a little bit of cohesion. And you're not gonna recreate that World Cup 2006 team. It's like virtually impossible with all the stars that they had. But they definitely can get results and can get into tournaments going forward. So that's my rant on Italy.
Adriano's rant of the week, brought to you by Adreano.
Yeah,
brought to you by Gianpuro Ventura. Never again.
No, man.
Your face is literally turning red.
Yeah,
no,
but it's all truth. It's what happened. So it's depressing.
Do you remember after that game we spoke on the phone, and we said a lot of things that obviously you can't repeat on radio?
No,
but
or else this thing would be shut down here.
But in all seriousness, what we said then, how Italy had this certain mindset that we're going to make every tournament possible. We're going to go with this old squad. Gianni said, it was a good thing it happened. They needed a revamp. We've kind of seen a revamp, but not too much, It's just something that's going to take time. Yeah. It's a good thing they have this Nation League concept, and players are allowed to get more experience through this instead of just friendlies. Euro 2020 in 2 years. It's not really hosted by country, but there is going to be games in Roma. It's going to be hosted all over Europe. And, I was so, down and depressed that afternoon after that happened. I just remember just sitting there. I was supposed to be doing work with the Concordian, obviously. And I'm just sitting there with my head in my hands and just thinking, what now? What now? Why now, first of all? I was in Italy this summer. I was so looking forward to watching World Cup in Italy, and they didn't qualify. They didn't get the memo. But, like you said, Italians wear emotions on their sleeve,
It's true. It's the truth. I mean, it's very disappointing, as I said, and I just hope that they can really turn things around with the youth that they do have. Sorry, these guys are putting the Mazzari watch on me because I've been ranting a bit too much today. But no, but I do honestly. I love to watch Italy, and I just want them to do well. So that's all I really hope for.
Okay, moving to the present. Italy plays Portugal on Saturday. Are we gonna have a viewing party for that? What are you guys doing on Saturday?
I hope I don't have to work. I don't know.
I have to work.
2:45. Okay, Adreano, come over. We'll watch it.
I'll see. We'll see what's going on.
Viewing party, the Calcio guys.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so they play Portugal on Saturday
and USA
on Tuesday. Kind of a weird game. It's not even in Italy.
No, it's a friendly.
Yeah, it's a friendly. Not even. It's outside of the country. I forgot where. But weird game. I'm looking for that Portugal game. Looking at this roster, is there? What do you guys think about this call-up list?
I mean, I think this call-up list is a pretty good one. I think they're starting to get to an established roster. I think in the Portugal game, they're probably going to play more of the big hitters, so to speak. I think they're probably going to get a 1-1 draw out of that. And then the USA game, I think you're going to play a lot more of the, let's say, the young guns, a lot of the guys that have inexperience on a national team, just to see how they do. But I think they actually might come away with a 1-0 win.
1-0 or 1-1?
1-0 win versus USA.
Oh, versus USA?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, any positive result for me is a bonus. I probably would agree with that with so much, I guess, kind of on the line for the Portugal game that they need a result there to get out of that Nations League group there. Do they get a result? I sure hope so. I would hope for a 2-1 victory. They really need this scoring to their attack to wake up and to get these goals passed. And for the USA game, as you said, not really much to it. It's just a friendly, but you know what? They shouldn't take these games lightly either. They brought on Mancini brought on 3 new call-ups in Tonali, Sensi, and Vincenzo Grifo. So I would maybe like to see 1, 2, maybe even all 3 of those guys get a shot, especially Tonali being so young. Another midfielder that we need to build up, I find. Our midfielder isn't up to scratch, but you know what? I definitely would like a 2-1 victory for the Portugal game, and whatever happens, I don't know, maybe a 1-0 victory against USA.
Okay, funny you say that. It's the midfield that kind of needs to get better. They called up Roberto Gagliardini again. I don't get it. I really don't. What has he done at Inter? Has he even played at Inter? Yeah. Why is he there?
Didn't he score 2 goals last week?
He scored 2 goals against
hold on, let me pull up my sheet right over here.
Not Spal. Against the low team. Sampdoria? No, I forget who. Empoli? No, I don't know.
I'm getting the stats. Hold on. It was against Genoa.
Okay, it's against Genoa. I don't care. Don't put him there. Cristante is doing better. Why isn't he there? El Shaarawy? Why isn't he there? Grifo? He's not even Italian.
He's German Italian.
Leave him on the German team.
He's German. Is that for real?
He's German Italian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's actually German Italian.
I don't have a problem usually with players, these transfers, but from Germany, no, thank you.
I don't know.
But I
mean,
Tonali, I love that. He has a lot of promise. It's great that he's there. But Berardi, what are you doing there? Has no business doing there. What has he done this season? Every time there's this call-up list, it's as if it's the same players over and over, just because of their name. Just because they're the big guns. You got to go. Why? El Shaarawy, he's had a fantastic season in Roma. Same with Cristante. Those are guys that need to be there. There's not too many players from Roma, and it's frustrating to see almost.
It's just that because I said it before. What's unfortunate about the El Shaarawy situation is that he plays on the left side, and you got a guy like Insigne on the choose side. I mean, then you have to choose between El Shaarawy and Insigne.
Okay, Berardi's there. Okay,
no, but fine. But as much as I don't know, it's just as much as I love both players. I mean, Yeah, it's just
I
you
don't know. They
can't.
could always change formation too. You
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
Mix up formations.
You could play El Shaarawy in behind the strikers.
You know, it
Belotti,
doesn't always have to be a 4-3-3. I mean, you know.
Belotti's not there, but I like that Belotti's there. He deserves it. He's a
Yeah.
good number 9. He scores with his head like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah,
I love that he's there, and
it's a big body up front
I'm excited to see what he can do because,
if he plays.
as Julia said, there's not enough attack.
No, there isn't.
You know, now we have to bank on Ciro Immobile. That's pretty much it. Anyways, thanks for listening to the Calcio guys. For Julia Villa, Adreano and Nardo, Gianni Colli, I'm Nicholas Di Giovanni. Follow us on Twitter, the Calcio guys. Follow myself, _Di Giovanni. Gianni rules RULZ 27. Adriano still doesn't have Twitter. Hashtag
Get Adrian on Twitter.
Yeah, we got to build this up and then I'll get it. We have to build it up. So, yeah, thanks for watching and thanks for listening.